Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Welcome back to our channel. After a comprehensive overview about the initial 42 types of angels created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are now moving towards the angel Samail, the tester through honor and humiliation. Among the ranks of the celestial host that Allah created to govern the unfolding of divine decree, Angel Samail holds a station both subtle and formidable. He is the angel of imtihan through honor and humiliation, testing the human soul in its relationship with status, pride, and recognition. His very name Sabāʻīl, from Samail, the heavens, signifies the one who elevates and casts down by heavenly command. In the hierarchies of Tasawwufi cosmology, he is counted among the angels of divine trials, the Mala'ikat al-Imtihan, working under the authority of Israfil and Nurul, yet distinct in his domain of spiritual testing, the sphere of egoic honor and the stripping of false dignity. These are the beings of unfathomable might, created from the most luminous light of Nur Muhammadi, meaning the divine light of Prophet Muhammad. It is said that Samail's tests are among the most hidden, for they arise not through calamity or loss, but through apparent elevation, when a servant is given rank, knowledge, or beauty, and must remain humble in the face of adoration. He tests kings through their thrones, scholars through their tongues, saints through their miracles, and seekers through their following. When arrogance enters the heart, Samail's light withdraws, leaving only the shadow of self-glorification. When humility is chosen, he adorns the soul with a divine fragrance known to the angels as Itar al-Kushu, the perfume of humility. According to the Gnostic tradition of the Tasawwuf, Samail appears at the veil between al-izzah, the divine might, and al-zillah, the divine humbling. His descent marks a trial that transforms apparent humiliation into a means of exaltation before Allah. For as the Qur'an says in Surah 3 verse 26, and Allah exalts whom He wills and abases whom He wills. In this divine paradox, Samail acts as the unseen executor of that decree, raising the humble to nearness and lowering the proud into distance. It is narrated in several tasawwuf and tariqat lineages that when the soul of a servant becomes veiled by the illusion of its own greatness, Samail's radiance surrounds the heart like a mirror, revealing its hidden arrogance. The seeker who passes this test walks the path of fana al-kibriya, the annihilation of pride, which is among the highest stations of the spiritual traveler, meaning salik. For this reason, the masters of Tasawwuf consider Samail a merciful but fearsome angel, one whose trials purify the heart of its subtlest idols. In the unseen order, Samail stands at the third circle of the angelic hierarchy of tests, overseeing the balance between izzah and tawadu. He records in the tablets of light the moments when a servant attributes honor to himself instead of to his Lord. His duty is not to destroy but to remind, to unveil the truth that real dignity lies only in servitude, not in dominion. The saints say that those who have been visited by Samail in their lives bear a mark of invisible refinement, a calm humility that glows without demanding recognition. Thus, the story of Samail is not one of punishment, but of purification through the fire of reputation. His trials polish the mirror of the heart until it reflects only the glory of Allah, not the self. In the chronicles of Sufi teaching, he is known as the angel who tests the crown bearers of the soul. For every human being wears an unseen crown of divine potential, and Samail ensures it is worn with humility or removed with grace. Before going further, a quick update. All our videos are available in both English and Urdu languages on our YouTube channel. You can find them by navigating to our playlists where all our videos are available for your convenience. Now let's continue. Quranic mentions in Al-Imran verse 26 say, O Allah, owner of sovereignty, you give sovereignty to whom you will, and you take sovereignty away from whom you will. You honor whom you will, and you humble whom you will. In your hand is all good. Indeed, you are over all things competent. This verse is the foundational reference for Samaīl's charge, the angel through whom honor meaning izzah and humiliation meaning dhillah are manifested in creation. In Al-Baqarah, verse 247, indeed, Allah has chosen him over you and increased him abundantly in knowledge and stature. Allah gives his sovereignty to whom he wills, and Allah is all-encompassing, knowing. The choosing and elevation of a servant, here Talut, symbolizes the celestial mediation of Samaīl, who tests hearts when rank is bestowed. In An-Nahl, verse 23. Assuredly, Allah does not love the arrogant and the boastful. This describes the rejection Samaīl enacts upon those who fail his trial of pride, removing their light of dignity. In Al-Isra, verse 37. And do not walk upon the earth exultantly. Indeed, you will never tear the earth apart, and you will never reach the mountains in height. A divine warning against the very arrogance whose measure is tested by Samaha in Al-Hijr, verses 29 to 31. So when I have proportioned him and breathed into him of my spirit, then fall down to him in prostration. So the angels prostrated, all of them entirely, except Iblis. He refused to be with those who prostrated. The first trial of honor and humiliation in creation. Iblis failed the Samailian test of recognizing true honor in obedience, not pride. In Al-Qasas, verses 76 to 82. The story of Qarun Korah. Do not exult, indeed Allah does not like the exultant. Then we caused the earth to swallow him and his home, an archetype of the soul that fails the test of status and wealth, the descent following arrogant elevation under the angelic law Samaīl represents. In Al-Araf, verse 146, I will turn away from my signs those who are arrogant upon the earth without right, and if they should see every sign, they will not believe in it. The veiling of guidance is one of Samaīl's subtle punishments, loss of divine perception through pride. In Al-Nisa, verses 147 and 148. Why should Allah punish you if you are grateful and believe? And Allah is ever appreciative and knowing. Allah does not like the public mention of evil except by one who has been wronged. Humility and gratitude are the remedies for Samaīl's trials. In Al-Hujurat, verses 11 and 13. O you who have believed, let not a people ridicule another people. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Here lies the principle Samaīl enforces, that real honor is measured by taqwa, not worldly rank. In Al-Munafiqun, verse 8, they say, if we return to Medina, the more honored will surely expel therefrom the more humble. Yet honor belongs to Allah and to His Messenger and to the believers, but the hypocrites do not know. Samaīl's light exposes such hypocrisy, overturning false claims to honor. In Al-Ankabut, verses 2 and 3, do the people think that they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tested? We certainly tested those before them. So Allah will surely make evident those who are truthful, and He will surely make evident the liars. The general law of divine testing, under which Samaīl's trials of honor and humiliation are subsumed. In Al-Inshikak, verse 6. O mankind, indeed you are laboring toward your Lord with great exertion and will meet Him, every rise and fall in dignity is part of that exertion. The unseen labor guided by angels like Samail to purify the ego before the meeting with Allah. These verses collectively define the Quranic framework through the angel Samail's function to manifest Allah's decree of izzah and dhillah in the world, testing human hearts by alternating between worldly elevation and spiritual abasement until only humility remains before the divine. In our previous videos, we also explored the verse on how Allah created every living thing from water, the creation of the waters above the dome and below the flat earth, the firmament dome above the flat earth, actual shape of the earth according to the Qur'an and Islamic cosmology, primordial waters of the heavens, the kursi, meaning the footstool of Allah, the arsh, meaning the throne of Allah, Law al-Mahfuz, meaning the sacred tablet, the second creation of Allah, Al-Kalam, why Allah created the universe, the first creation of Allah, the 7 portals and dimensions of the universe, and discussed where Allah was before He created the universe. If you haven't watched them yet, please do. Now let's continue. Hadith mentions 1. Pride and humility, the root of Samail's test, in Sahih Muslim, Hadith 91. The Prophet said, "No one will enter paradise who has even an atom's weight of pride in his heart." A man asked, "What if someone likes his clothes to look good and his shoes to look good?" He said, "Allah is beautiful and loves beauty." Pride means rejecting truth and looking down on people. This hadith defines the very field in which Angel Samail tests the soul, between beauty born of gratitude and arrogance born of self-glory. 2. Allah elevates and humbles. In Sahih Muslim, Hadith 2588, the Prophet said, "Charity does not decrease wealth. No one forgives but Allah increases him in honor, and no one humbles himself for the sake of Allah but Allah raises him in rank." This hadith reveals the principle Samail executes, Allah's raising and lowering of souls according to their humility. 3. Honor belongs to the humble. In Sunan Ibn Majah, Hadith 4174, the Messenger of Allah said, "Allah has revealed to me that you must humble yourselves so that no one boasts over another and no one oppresses another." Samail manifests this divine revelation by measuring the soul's reaction to its status among others. 4. The one who is truly honored. In Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith 6502, the Prophet said, "Whoever is humble for the sake of Allah, Allah will raise him up, and whoever is arrogant, Allah will bring him down." This descent and ascent are the unseen workings of Samail, the angelic intermediary of divine honor. 5. The fall of the proud. In Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith 4850, and Sahih Muslim, Hadith 285, the Prophet said, "On the day of resurrection, the arrogant will be gathered like ants in the form of men. Humiliation will envelop them from every side." Here, Samail's role appears at Qiyamah, transforming false honor into humiliation as divine justice unfolds. 6. The most honored are the most righteous. In Sunan al-Tirmidhi, Hadith 3270, the Prophet said, "Allah does not look at your forms or your wealth, but He looks at your hearts and your deeds." Samail weighs honor not by appearance but by purity of the heart, mirroring Allah's gaze. 7. The destruction of pride. In Sunan Abi Dawud, Hadith 4090, the Messenger of Allah said, "Shall I not tell you of the people of the fire? Every violent, arrogant and proud person." This hadith marks the spiritual territory where Samail tests pride that leads to ruin. 8. The raising of the unknown. In Sunan Ibn Majah, Hadith 4119, the Prophet said, Many a person with disheveled hair, covered with dust, and kept away from doors, if he were to swear by Allah, Allah would fulfill his oath. Samail lifts such hidden saints in secret honor unseen by worldly eyes. 9. The humiliation of the arrogant king. In Musnad Ahmad, ḥadīth 7117, the Prophet said, Allah gives respite to the oppressor, but when he seizes him, he does not let him escape. Then he recited the verse 102 of Surah Āl. Such is the seizure of your Lord when he seizes the towns while they are committing wrong. Samail is among the angelic executors of this divine seizing, the reversal of arrogance into disgrace. 10. The transformation of status. In Sunan al-Tirmidhi, ḥadīth 2023, the Prophet said, whoever seeks knowledge to compete with the scholars, or to argue with the foolish, or to draw people's attention, Allah will put him into hell. Samail tests the seeker of knowledge by intention, whether he seeks divine light or self-glory. 11. The veil of arrogance in worship. In Sunan an-Nasa'i, ḥadīth 5388, the Prophet said, he who drags his garment out of pride, Allah will not look at him on the day of resurrection. Samail's unseen recorders mark such subtle pride as spiritual blindness. 12. The angels who lower wings for the humble. In Sunan Abi Dawud, ḥadīth 3641, the angels lower their wings for the seeker of knowledge out of contentment for what he does. In Tasawwufi understanding, these are the luminous extensions of Samail's mercy, for humility attracts angelic descent. 13. The Prophet's own supplication. In Musnad Ahmad, ḥadīth 12223, the Prophet used to pray, O Allah, make me small in my own eyes and great in the eyes of the people through your grace. This dua reflects the balance Samail maintains, humility inwardly, honor outwardly for Allah's cause. 14. The inversion of pride at Qiyamah. In Sahih Muslim, ḥadīth 2859, the haughty and proud will be gathered in the form of tiny ants. Humiliation will cover them from every side. This hadith directly shows Samail's manifestation on the Day of Judgment. 15. The final distribution of honor. In Sahih Muslim, ḥadīth 189, the Prophet said, the people of paradise will see the people of the higher chambers as you see a star in the horizon. This is because of the difference in their ranks. They said, is that for the prophets? He said, no, but for those who believed in Allah and confirmed the messengers. Samail's last test ends here. The eternal ranks of dignity that mirror the humility lived in the world. These hadiths collectively illustrate the field of Angel Samail's operation, the unseen testing of honor, pride, humility, and status, executed through this spiritual law of elevation and abasement, by which Allah purifies His servants until only sincerity remains. Their description and numbers. In Tasawwufi cosmology, Angel Samail is described as one of the great angels of divine trial, the Malaikat al-Imtihan, whose duty is to test the hearts of men through the twin gates of honor and humiliation. He is a being of luminous majesty, half veiled in radiance, half cloaked in shadow, because his function spans both izzah, meaning glory, and dhillah, meaning abasement. His form is said to be immense, with wings extending from the realm of izzah, the divine honor, to Arsh al-Kabir, the supreme throne. In descriptions preserved by later Tasawwufi cosmographers, Samail presides over the seventh sphere of testing, governing 12 legions of angels who record, measure, and mirror the subtle transformations of pride and humility within human souls. Each legion corresponds to a particular aspect of the ego arrogance in knowledge, vanity in worship, pride in lineage, boasting in wealth, and the hidden conceit of piety. Samail's light is said to shine golden white when the servant is grateful and humble, but it turns bronze or dim when arrogance seeps into the heart. His station lies between the realms of Malakut, the unseen angelic dominion, and Jabarut, the world of divine power, for he mediates between outward worldly success and the inward reality of divine acceptance. It is said that the angels under his command test kings and scholars more than the poor and simple, for the test of status is weightier than that of poverty. According to some Tasawwufi enumerations, Samail is the 8th among the 99 archetypal angels of divine administration, placed after ḥadīth, the angel of sustenance and loss, and before Azrafil, the angel of death, in the cosmic order of trial. His presence is felt in moments when a person gains recognition, praise, or influence. His subtle touch whispers into the soul, "Will you see yourself, or will you see the bestower?" Likewise, when one is shamed, forgotten, or mocked, Samail's unseen light tests, "Will you despair, or remain content with the hidden honor of Allah?" The Tasawwufi masters teach that every rise and fall in social rank is a visitation of this angel, who reveals to the heart whether it seeks dignity in the eyes of men or in the gaze of the divine. In the inner hierarchy of angels, Samail's numbers and hosts are symbolic of the many veils of Nafs al-Kibr, the self of pride, each to be lifted through humility, gratitude, and remembrance. He thus governs one of the most dangerous trials of spiritual evolution, the trial of self-glory, and those who pass under his watch emerge as true servants who find their honor only in Allah. Role with the prophets. Angel Samail, the celestial arbiter of honor and humiliation, played a subtle yet essential role in the spiritual formation and divine trials of many prophets. His presence is not that of open warfare or revelation, but of invisible orchestration, shaping moments where the prophets were tested with glory, rejection, or humiliation, and how they bore them with humility before Allah. In the language of the Tasawwufi masters, Samail was the angel of balance between izzah, the divine honor, and dhillah, the earthly abasement, ensuring that each prophet's soul shone with perfect surrender, purified from pride and self-regard. With Prophet Adam, Samail's test began at the dawn of humanity, when Prophet Adam was honored by Allah's command for the angels to prostrate before him. Samail oversaw the balance of that honor, ensuring it did not lead to arrogance. Iblis's refusal to bow was the first defiance under Samail's watch, the manifestation of pride that this angel was created to expose. Prophet Adam's subsequent descent to earth symbolized the correction of that imbalance, the fall that purified the heart of pride through humility and repentance. With Prophet Nuh, Samail tested Prophet Nuh with centuries of rejection. Despite being mocked and belittled, Prophet Nuh's humility under humiliation exemplified the triumph of servanthood over pride. Every insult and scoffing of his people was a visitation from Samail's hosts, testing whether the prophet would see his mission as self-importance or divine obedience. He passed by continuing his call for 950 years, pure in intention. With Prophet Ibrahim, Prophet Ibrahim's life was a continual manifestation of Samail's dual testing. He was honored as the friend of Allah, also called Khalil Allah, yet humiliated before his people when cast into the fire. The angel's presence governed both scenes, showing that true izzah lies not in worldly safety, but in divine nearness. When kings tried to seize his wife Sarah, And when he was made homeless, Ibrahim's composure was Samail's lesson in poverty within richness and richness within poverty. With Prophet Musa, Samail's trial appeared in Pharaoh's palace, the clash between divine servitude and human arrogance. Pharaoh was among those most veiled by this angel's energy of pride, while Prophet Musa embodied humility despite being chosen as Allah's spokesman. When Prophet Musa struck the sea and it parted, Samail's light tested him. Would the miracle be seen as his own act or Allah's? Prophet Musa passed the trial by declaring, "My Lord is with me, He will guide me." With Prophet Dawood and Prophet Sulaiman, these two prophets were tested most openly under Samail's charge. Both kings, both given great power and honor. Prophet Dawood's repentance after his moment of error was a victory over the whisper of pride, while Sulaiman's prayer, "My Lord, grant me a kingdom none after me will have," was not arrogance, but surrender. Samail's presence here refined them. He taught that power is a trust, not an ornament. With Prophet Isa, no prophet bore humiliation more visibly than Prophet Isa under Samail's test. Mocked, denied, and seemingly crucified, he was shown to the world as defeated, yet exalted in the heavens. The inversion of appearances, humiliation concealing divine elevation, is Samail's deepest mystery. The masters say that through Isa, this angel revealed that honor belongs to those humiliated in the path of truth. With Prophet Muhammad, the seal of prophets bore the most complete test of Samail. In Ta'if, when pelted with stones, in Makkah, when called mad and rejected, and in Medina, when he was raised as leader over nations, every rise and fall was governed by this angel's subtle presence. At Badr, he was honored with angelic aid. At Uhud, he was wounded and humbled. The lesson was that the messenger's perfection lay in complete servitude, meaning ubudiyah, not divine pride. As recorded in Sahih Muslim, ḥadīth 2588, the Prophet said, "None humbles himself for Allah except that Allah raises him." A hadith that the Tasawwufi masters call the voice of Samail's mystery. Through all prophets, Samail's mission was constant, to expose and purify the hidden traces of self, teaching that the loftiest honor lies in utter humility before Allah. Where pride appears, He tests. Where humility shines, He withdraws. The saints say, "He is the angel who disappears when the servant bows his head." Tasawwufi and Tariqat symbolism. In the depths of Sufi cosmology, Angel Samail is not merely an angelic being. He is the mirror of divine majesty, the Jalal. His very presence unveils the hidden polarity of the cosmos, honor and humiliation meaning izzah wa zillath, pride and humility meaning kibr wa tawadu, elevation and annihilation meaning raf wa fanawa. Every seeker who walks the tariqat, the spiritual path, must at some point meet Samail. Not in physical form, but as the testing of the soul's sincerity when faced with the twin flames of praise and disgrace. 1. Symbolism of Samail in Tasawwufi thought. Samail symbolizes the divine veil of honor, the unseen test that determines whether a servant seeks Allah's pleasure or the shadow of their own image. When one is praised, honored, or granted spiritual power, it is Samail who stands before them, silently whispering, "Will you attribute this to yourself or to your Lord?" He is the guardian of the maqam, the station of ikhlas, pure sincerity. According to the Sufi masters, Samail's light is not soft like Angel Jibrail's or warm like Angel Mikael's. It is piercing, mirror-like, and mercilessly honest. Whoever beholds it sees their nafs, meaning ego, naked before God. He governs the bridge between Maqam al-Tawadu, the station of humility, and Maqam al-Izzah, station of divine honor, teaching that one must first be broken to be raised. The Khirqa, the Sufi cloak that a murshid, meaning spiritual guide, places upon a disciple, represents this same principle, the humiliation of ego and the honor of servanthood, both balanced under Samail's radiance. 2. Role in the tariqat path. Within the Turuk, the spiritual paths, Samail is known as the angel of hidden examination, the Malak al-Iqtibal al-Kafi. His presence is felt whenever a murid, the seeker, experiences the contradictions of the path. Exaltation followed by abasement, visions followed by veiling, success followed by loss. In the Qadiri and Chishti orders, he is seen as a force of tajrid, the divine stripping, removing worldly or spiritual ranks that could make a dervish proud. In the Naqshbandi tradition, his trials manifest as the Surah Āl, the secret of subtle arrogance that can accompany spiritual unveiling, meaning kashaf. Only those guided by a Kamil Murshid, perfect master, survive this test. In the Shadili and Mevlevi paths, Samail's descent is interpreted as the state of contraction, meaning kabd, when the heart feels deprived of divine sweetness, to test whether the seeker worships Allah for His essence or for His gifts. Thus, Samail is not an enemy but a hidden teacher, the angel who purifies through paradox. When one feels humiliated after being honored, that is his touch. When a saint loses fame and feels peace, that is his approval. 3. Hidden secrets, the Asrar al-Batin. The Tasawwufi masters disclose that Samail's secret lies in the reversal of appearances. His light in the unseen is dazzling white at its core, but its reflection in the lower realms often appears as darkness or loss. This is why many seekers mistake his presence for divine wrath, when in truth it is mercy veiled in majesty. He tests the qalb, meaning heart, to see if it recognizes Allah in both the cloak of humiliation and the robe of splendor. If a seeker remains content, meaning rida, whether praised or cursed, honored or rejected, Samail withdraws, for the test is complete. The hidden Tasawwufi saying attributed to Hazrat Abdul Qadir al-Jilani states, when Allah wishes to polish a servant's heart, He sends Samail to break the mirror of his pride, that he may see only the face of the beloved. And Hazrat Ibn Arabi in Al-Futuhat al-Makkiyah writes, Samail is the angel of balance between Jalal, meaning majesty, and Jamal, beauty. His descent occurs not upon lands but upon souls, that the spirit may learn the humility of being nothing before Allah. In deeper layers, Sufis believe that the trial of honor and humiliation is the hidden face of divine unity, meaning Tawhid. For when one sees both as equal emanations of Allah's will, the veil of duality lifts. Then the seeker realizes there is no humiliation but His will, and no honor but His reflection. 4. The inner secret of Samail's light. Samail's Noor, meaning light, is said to emanate from the divine name Al-Mu'izz, the bestower of honor, and Al-Mudhil, the abaser, two names that are twin reflections of divine sovereignty. He manifests when these names act together. When a king becomes humble before Allah, Samail's light elevates him. When a scholar grows arrogant, Samail's shadow humiliates him. When a dervish accepts humiliation with joy, Samail transforms that disgrace into divine beauty. Thus, in Tasawwuf, he is the hidden teacher of Tawhid, showing that izzah and dhillah, gain and loss, rise and fall, are all one light in different veils. Commentaries of the Tasawwufi masters, Imam al-Ghazali, in Ihya'i Ulum al-Din, Imam al-Ghazali writes that the subtlest disease of the soul is love of honor, meaning hub al-jah. He identifies the angelic force that exposes this disease as Samail, the one who opens the curtains of false humility. Ghazali's commentary is psychological yet mystical. When the soul is pleased by its own abasement, that too is pride in disguise. Then Allah sends an angel from the realm of majesty, meaning Jalal, to test it. This is Samail. He explains that this angel governs the balance of al-izzah, al-dhillah, honor and humiliation, allowing seekers to see that true honor is servitude, meaning ubudiyah. Thus, in his cosmology, Samail stands at the threshold of Maqam al-Sikh, station of truthfulness, where only those purified of hypocrisy may pass. Sheikh al-Akbar ibn Arabi, in Al-Futuhat al-Makkiyah and Fusus al-Hikam, Hazrat ibn Arabi speaks of Samail as one of the angels of the divine names. He links Samail directly to the names Al-Muiz and Al-Mudhil. Samail is the manifestation of the two names that appear as opposites but are one in their source. Hazrat ibn Arabi says that when a seeker begins to see no difference between honor and humiliation, the veil of duality, meaning hijab al-ithnaniya, is torn, and this is the unveiling of Samail's reality, meaning hakika samahiliya. He also reveals that this angel appears in dreams as a figure clothed half in gold, half in dust, showing that the divine alternates the soul states between kabidi, meaning contraction, and bast, meaning expansion. According to Hazrat ibn Arabi, Samail's descent signifies the tajalli of divine sovereignty, tajalli al-mulk, the moment Allah teaches His servant that kingship belongs only to Him. Hazrat Sheikh Abd al-Qadir al-Jilani, in his discourses compiled in Fath al-Rabbani and al-Fuyudat al-Rabbaniyah, Sheikh Abd al-Qadir teaches that Samail is the angel who polishes the heart of the awliya and saints by stripping them of hidden arrogance. He says, "When a servant rejoices at praise, know that Samail has not yet departed from him. But when he rejoices equally in praise and in blame, then Samail bows before his station." The Sheikh explains that this angel is sent to those who are chosen for leadership in the unseen, meaning imamat al-ghaib, so that they do not fall into the trap of self-glory. He calls Samail the angel of inner jihad, meaning malak al-jihad al-batin, for he wages war against the nafs al-mutmahina, the self that believes itself purified. The nafs hides under the robe of humility. Samail lifts that robe. Thus, in al-Jilani's view, Samail's test is the highest trial, and passing it is a sign that the murid, the seeker, has reached al-fana fil al-izzah, annihilation in divine honor. Hazrat Shams al-Din Tabrizi, the great mystic and spiritual mentor of Rumi, Hazrat Shams Tabrizi, speaks more fiercely of Samail. In his Makalat, he warns the seeker, "When you think you have become humble, Samail will appear and throw you into disgrace, so that your humility becomes true." He calls this angel the lion of the path, the one who devours the false saint and spares the true lover. According to Hazrat Shams, Samail's presence burns away the intoxication of self. The saints are not tested by wine or women, but by honor and humiliation. This is Samail's fire, unseen but felt in every wound of the ego. Hazrat Shams also explains that Samail is a companion to every real dervish, standing behind the murshid when he initiates a disciple. When the seeker takes bay'ah, meaning spiritual allegiance, Samail stands invisible, watching whether the heart submits to the guide's command or secretly resists out of pride. He concludes, "Do not ask for Samail to leave you, ask to survive him." Maulana Jalal al-Din Rumi, in the Mathnawi and his Fihi Ma Fihi, Maulana Rumi speaks of Samail through poetry and parable. He calls him the angel of the crooked mirror, for his trials reflect the ego's distortions until they are broken. Maulana Rumi says, "Honor and shame are two veils of the same thread. Samail weaves and unweaves them until the heart becomes clothless before God." In another verse, he likens Samail's work to the polishing of a sword. He strikes you with disgrace so that your steel may shine. He crowns you with praise so that your hidden pride may bleed. Maulana Rumi interprets Samail's light as the whirling movement of the divine dance, the rotation between high and low, rise and fall, joy and sorrow, all turning around the axis of divine will. Thus, in the Mevlevi Sufi order, Samail's trials are understood as part of Sama's spiritual audition, the alternating melody of divine proximity and distance. Together, these masters portray Angel Samail as the mirror of sincerity, the crusher of subtle pride, the gatekeeper between human and divine honor, and the flame that burns every trace of the self so that only Allah remains. Where Angel Jibrail brings knowledge, Angel Mikael brings sustenance, Israfil brings resurrection, and Azrael brings death, Angel Samail brings annihilation of the ego, which is for the Sufis the truest form of life, the possibility of seeing them. 1. In real life, the Tasawwufi masters teach that Samail does not appear first as a form but as a circumstance. His descent begins as a test of reputation, humiliation, or sudden elevation, a divine drama that reveals the hidden disease of pride. When the seeker rises in position or fame, when people begin to honor him or praise his work, Samail stands near, unseen, yet directing the hearts of others to either exalt or disgrace him. Both honor and dishonor are his instruments. In such moments, if the heart remains balanced, humble before Allah, unmoved by either, then the angel retreats in reverence. But if the soul becomes intoxicated by status, Samail presses harder, turning friends into critics, blessings into blame, until the seeker's heart breaks open and his sincerity is purified. Thus, his presence in real life is not recognized by sight but by the unmistakable rhythm of being lifted and thrown down again and again until the ego no longer resists. In dreams, in the world of Ruya Sadiqa, the true dreams, Samail's manifestation carries powerful symbols of duality. He may appear as a radiant figure wearing half a robe of light and half of shadow, or as a noble man whose face alternates between beauty and decay. The light side represents divine honor, meaning izzah, and the shadow represents divine humiliation, meaning zillah. To see him smiling signifies acceptance of Allah's decree with grace, while to see him turn away means the heart still clings to worldly validation. In some dreams, Samail may present a crown made of dust. This symbolizes the truth that worldly crowns are illusions, and that the only real sovereignty is servitude. Sufi interpreters such as Al-Nabulusi and Ibn Sirin mention that seeing oneself being praised or honored in a dream often means a test is coming from Samail in waking life. His dream visits are not rewards but warnings, signals that the seeker's nafs self is being prepared for burning refinement. In Kashf, meaning spiritual unveiling. In Kashf, experienced only by the awliya, the friends of Allah, Samaīl may appear as a being of balanced light and shadow, or as a shifting mirror that reflects the seeker's true spiritual condition. The saints describe that when Samaīl unveils himself fully, one feels stripped of all dignity and yet filled with unspeakable peace. The paradox of realizing that humiliation and honor are both divine garments. The vision is overwhelming. Some see him seated upon a throne woven of gold and ashes, his wings inscribed with the words Al-Mu'izz, Al-Mudhil. At that moment, the seeker's soul witnesses how Allah elevates one heart and lowers another, and that no status belongs to creation itself. In deeper states, Samaīl may open the vision of the balance of destinies, showing how each servant's rise or fall is a precise reflection of Allah's wisdom, not of human merit. This experience marks the death of vanity, the last veil before true fana, meaning self-annihilation, and baqā, meaning subsistence in God. In the words of Sheikh Ibn Arabi, when Samaīl unveils his secret, he shows you that all thrones are dust, and every humiliation is a step to the divine presence. Thus, to see Angel Samaīl, whether through trial, dream, or unveiling, is to stand on the edge between false glory and divine reality. Those who endure him emerge as the true servants of Allah, invisible to men yet radiant in the unseen. Roll in the grave. When the soul departs from the body and enters the darkness of the grave, Samaīl appears not as a tormentor or comforter, but as a tester of inner humility. The Sufis say that the first light to greet the soul in the grave is the light of its own reputation, the echoes of what people used to say about it. If the soul takes pride in how others once honored it, Samaīl veils himself, and the grave feels narrow and suffocating. But if the soul bows and says, "All honor belongs to Allah alone," Samaīl opens the grave into a vast garden of humility. His presence teaches the dead that honor in the dunya has no weight unless it was used in servitude. He reminds the soul of the Prophet's saying as recorded in Sahih Muslim, ḥadīth 2588. Whoever humbles himself for Allah, Allah will raise him. Thus, Samaīl's grave test is subtle. He measures whether the soul carried honor as a servant or as a sovereign of self. Role in Barzakh. In Barzakh, the intermediate world between death and resurrection, Samaīl governs the mirror of deeds related to pride and humiliation. The saints narrate that every soul is shown an image of itself as others saw it, respected, despised, or forgotten. Samaīl stands beside this mirror, whispering, "Was this face for Allah or for the gaze of men?" If the answer of the heart is sincerity, the mirror transforms into a window of divine light, and the soul ascends peacefully through the barzakh. If not, the mirror becomes clouded and heavy, causing the soul to wander among shadows of false honor. This realm is where Samaīl's function intertwines with that of angels Munkar and Nakir. While they ask about faith and deeds, Samaīl silently tests the truth of intention, ensuring no trace of arrogance follows the soul beyond the veil. Role on the day of Qiyamah. On the day of resurrection, Samaīl stands near the banners of Mu'izz, the exalter, and Al-Mudhil, the humiliator, overseeing the sorting of those whose worldly status blinded them. The Qur'an declares Surah 86 verse 9. The day when secrets will be tested, in that hour Samaīl's wings spread across the multitudes, one side radiant with those who were humble in this world, the other darkened by those who glorified themselves. He calls out by Allah's permission Where are the kings of the earth? Where are the proud? Today, sovereignty belongs to Allah, the One, the Irresistible. Referenced from Sahih Muslim, ḥadīth 2855. The Tasawwufi commentaries state that Samail's energy will unveil the hidden arrogance even of pious acts. Scholars who sought fame, worshippers who sought recognition, leaders who sought titles. His light burns through every layer of self-deception until only truth remains. When the deeds are weighed, Samail assists the angels of the Mizan by balancing the naya, meaning intention, against the amal, meaning action. Many deeds that appear heavy may turn light when pride was hidden within them. Others that seem small may outweigh mountains when performed in humility. The saints say, Samail holds the feather of sincerity, a measure unseen except by Allah's alaya. His role ensures that no false humility passes the scales. The Prophet said in a hadith of Sahih Muslim hadith 91, no one with an atom's weight of pride in his heart will enter paradise. Hence, Samail's inspection at the Mizan purifies the record of every servant before it is sealed. When the believers cross the Sirat, Samail appears at one of its final arches. There, he is not a judge but a revealer. He mirrors the inner balance of humility and pride in the soul's light. Those who carried their honors lightly cross swiftly, their light bright and unwavering. Those who sought recognition stumble as their own pride darkens the path beneath them. The saints narrate that if a soul slips due to arrogance, Samail turns away, allowing it to fall, but if it slips out of weakness and immediately cries, O Allah, you alone are the exalter, Samail spreads his wing beneath and lifts it across. His presence at the Sirat reminds creation of the eternal truth, that no crown survives the divine gaze, and no humility is ever forgotten. In the vision of Sheikh Abd al-Qadir al-Jilani, at the bridge the humble shall walk upon light, and the proud shall walk upon smoke, and over both will stand the angel of honor and humiliation Samail, weighing the sincerity of every step. Protection and awareness through the Kamil Murshid. A Kamil Murshid, perfect spiritual guide, is the living mirror through which the disciple's pride is shattered before it can grow. In the presence of such a guide, Samail's testing light descends gently, not to humiliate, but to refine. The Murshid's task is to teach fana alana, the annihilation of the I, through humble service, obedience, and silence before the Sheikh. The seeker learns that honor is only in servitude. The Murshid redirects the disciple's spiritual attention from what people see to what Allah knows. When the heart accepts this redirection, Samail's trials turn into light. His tests no longer bring disgrace, but unveil hidden ego that blocks divine nearness. As Sheikh Abd al-Qadir al-Jilani said, your Sheikh will humiliate you so that the angels will honor you. This is the path of purification. Humiliation at the hand of the guide becomes the key to eternal dignity in the sight of Allah. A Murshid awakens the seeker to the reality that every breath is a form shaped by zikr. By teaching breath zikr, the Murshid transforms the human into a being of continuous remembrance, surpassing angels. A Kamil Murshid, meaning a perfect spiritual guide, is considered in Tasawwuf the inheritor of the Prophet, guiding seekers on the path from clay, meaning nafs, to light, meaning ruh. The Kamil Murshid helps awaken this nafas al-Rahman, meaning breath of the All-Merciful, within the disciple. Also, as stated in Surah Kaf verse 17, whoever Allah guides is truly guided, but whoever He leaves to stray, you will never find for them a Murshid, meaning a spiritual guide. Angels are always in dhikr, but their dhikr is fixed and limited to the forms Allah gave them. Man, however, through guidance of a murshid, can transform his every breath into dhikr, making his remembrance continuous like angels and even higher because it comes through free will. In tariqat, the murshid teaches habs al-nafas, meaning watching the breath, and zikr kafi, meaning silent dhikr. Every inhalation and every exhalation affirms Allah and He alone. This makes the seeker live in the constant rhythm of divine presence. Through the Qur'an contains many verses where Samail's wisdom is reflected through divine discourse on pride and humility. The seeker who recites and meditates upon these verses awakens a shield of inner awareness. Key among them, Surah 17 verse 37. And do not walk upon the earth exultantly. Indeed, you will never tear the earth apart, nor reach the mountains in height. Surah 28 verse 83. That home of the hereafter we assign to those who do not desire exalted status upon the earth or corruption. Surah 91 verses 9 and 10. Success indeed is the one who purifies the soul, and failure is the one who corrupts it. Frequent recitation of these verses, especially Surah Al-Hashr, where Allah's names Al-Aziz and Al-Mutakabir are mentioned, cleanses the subtle pride lodged in the soul. The Qur'an, in essence, reveals that true protection from Samail's tests lies in recognizing Allah as the only source of honor and abasement. Through du'as, the Prophet and the awliya left behind specific invocations that act as veils of humility and guards against the trials of Samail. Dua of humility attributed to Imam Ali, O Allah, make me small in my own eyes and great in yours. Dua for safety from pride, as recorded in Musnad Ahmad 23,467. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from the evil of my soul, from pride, vanity, and arrogance. Dua of inner balance. O Allah, make my secret better than my outward, and make my outward righteous. Reciting Surah Al-Mulk and Surah Al-Mu'minun before sleep is said by the Tasawwufi masters to veil the heart from UJB, meaning self-conceit, which is the gate Samail uses to test seekers. Acts to do. Practice daily dhikr of Subhana Rabbayal Azim. Glorifying Allah's greatness humbles the nafs. Serve the poor and the unrecognized without announcing it. Service annihilates pride. Accept correction and criticism without defending oneself. The Aliyah say, he who defends his honor before men loses it before Allah. Contemplate the day of Qiyamah often. Remembering the Mizan and Sirat dissolves illusions of status. Acts to avoid. Avoid self-praise in any form, even in the guise of gratitude. Avoid spiritual comparison with others. Measuring one's state or progress invites Samail scrutiny. Avoid leading gatherings unless commanded by the Sheikh. Leadership without annihilation breeds subtle pride. Avoid disrespect toward those socially beneath you. Every act of superiority calls forth a test of humiliation. Avoid reliance on lineage, position, or spiritual rank, the Prophet said in Sahih Muslim 2699. Whoever is slowed by his deeds will not be hastened by his lineage. So, dear viewers, Samail is not merely the angel of humiliation, he is the mirror of divine justice in the domain of honor. Through him, Allah purifies the soul of arrogance by exposing every illusion of superiority. He descends whenever a servant begins to think himself self-sufficient, to remind him that all greatness flows from the eternal great. To the mystics, Samail's descent is mercy disguised as disgrace, for through the fire of humiliation, the heart becomes a vessel for divine light. In Sufism they say, No one sees the throne until he is trampled by the crowd. The true seeker therefore welcomes Samail's tests, for behind every humiliation lies Allah's hidden favor, and behind every fall a lifting unseen. When one bows to Allah completely, even the angels of testing become guardians of elevation. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoy this content and find it beneficial, we kindly ask you to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more authentic, faith-strengthening content. And let's continue this journey of knowledge together. Insha'Allah, see you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.